Hey everyone, the last round of the 2018 European Club Cup just ended, and we are going to take a look at a game from the clash between St. Petersburg and Valerenga. So a win for either team could mean first place in the standings. In this game we have Vladimir Fedoseev with the white pieces against Swedish Grandmaster Nils Grandelius. The game opens with d4, d5 from Grandelius, c4, c6, so we have the Slav defense, knight f3, knight to f6, queen to b3, which puts some pressure on b7, making it difficult for this bishop on c8 to develop. e6 from Grandelius, and bishop g5, pinning this knight. h6 from black, we have bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, and g3, so white is preparing to develop this light square bishop. d takes c4. Queen takes c4, knight to d7, and bishop to h3 instead of bishop g2. Well, this helps to put some pressure on e6. Black goes g6, preparing to develop to fianchetto his dark square bishop. Knight to c3, developing the knight, bishop g7, and both sides castle. So in this kinds of structure, usually white is a bit better because of its space advantage, and also because of this problematic bishop on c8. And if possible, black would love to be able to free his bishop with a break like e5. So here, rook f to d1 from Fedoseev, giving more support to this pawn on d4. Queen to e7 drops the queen back because moves like knight to e4 might come with tempo on the queen, which Fedoseev plays. So here a5 from Grandelius, which gains more space on the queen side and also stops white from trying to go for a minority attack with b4, b5. Rook d2, a useful move protecting the b2 pawn in case this long diagonal ever opens up, with moves like c5. a4 from Grandelius, gaining more space. a3, stopping black from going a3, and rook to a5, with some ideas of swinging the rook over to h5. So Fedoseev plays queen b4, forcing an exchange of queens. Queen takes b4, a takes b4, and rook to b5, looking at this pawn. We have rook takes a4, so it seems that white has managed to win a pawn. But this is only temporary because knight to b6 kicks this rook back, so after rook a2, this pawn is no longer defended, so rook takes b4. And knight to c5 from Fedoseev, putting pressure on the b7 pawn, but more importantly, this stops black from going e5, which would liberate this bishop. For example, if white plays e3 here, then e5 would work because white cannot go d takes e5, because then this knight hangs. So here knight to c5 from Fedoseev. Knight d7 from Grandelius, challenging this knight and also preparing the break e5. Knight d3 from Fedoseev, a nice move. Clamping down on e5, so this makes it more difficult for black to liberate this bishop. Rook b5 from Grandelius. We have rook to c2, which again stops any ideas from black freeing this bishop with b6 and c5, because now this pawn would simply fall. We have rook to d8 with some pressure on d4, e3 from white, knight to b8, and bishop f1. So this bishop isn't doing much on h3 at the moment, so on f1 it has some could potentially have some discoveries against this rook. Knight a6, so preparing to meet a discovery like knight d to e5 with knight to b4. So here we have rook to a4, just protecting this b4 square, bishop to f8, and here knight d to e5. So Fedoseev manages to get a knight to the central square, also with an attack on this rook. Knight b4, and in between move, rook to c1 and rook to b6. And here knight d2 from Fedoseev, perhaps looking to jump into e4. Knight to d5, rook to a2, defending this pawn on b2, knight back to b4, and rook to a7 from Fedoseev, putting pressure here and also preparing to double on the a file. Bishop e7. So black's position is not easy to play at all because he is more cramped. Rook c to a1, and here's c5 from Grandelius, trying to take advantage of this undefended knight on d2. But this is a crucial blunder, which fails tactically, because, well, after knight d to c4, this rook doesn't have any good squares to go to. So if rook to b5, then simply knight takes f7. And if king takes, then knight e5 check opens up a discovery on this rook. So here Grandelius plays rook to a6. That is taken. Knight takes a6 and knight to b6. So now white is threatening to take here, and this would open up an attack on this bishop. So here Grandelius plays c takes d4, just giving up the piece. If he plays, for example, knight b4, then here white would have a very nice position. After rook takes b7, bishop retreats to f8, then d takes c5. So now this knight is undefended. And if bishop takes c5, then knight takes f7. Looking at this pawn, and white has a great position. He is up 2 pawns. So here after knight b6, Grandelius plays c takes d4. We have knight takes c8, rook takes c8, bishop takes a6. So b takes a6 would open up an attack on this bishop. We have d takes e3 and rook takes b7. So white doesn't need to worry about e2 because this bishop covers that square. Bishop f6 with an attack on this knight. Knight takes f7. E takes f2 check, king takes f2, bishop g7, defending the pawn on h6. But here bishop d3 from Fedoseev attacks g6, but also stops counterplay with rook coming down to c2. So it was in this position that Nils Grandelius resigned the game. In the other games between St. Petersburg and Valerenga, Carlsen drew with Svidler. Also, Maxim Rothstein won after an incredible blunder from Petersburg. This means that St. Petersburg are the new winners of the 2018 European Club Cup. So for those of you who are interested in the standings, let me just pull that out real quick. So after 7 rounds of play, St. Petersburg in first place, in second place AVE from the Czech Republic, and in third place Molodeshka. So after Valerenga's loss against St. Petersburg, they fell all the way down to 5th place. And also, well, the first seed, Alkaloid, didn't do so well in the tournament, finishing with 6th place. So that is all for this video. And if you enjoyed the game, feel free to subscribe and hit the like button. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video.